Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
I was the placement chair for 3 years of executive MBA at IIM. So I realized when I was talking to industry that there is a visible gap. So many, without naming recruiters, top recruiters used to come. So one time, one top recruiter came and I was expecting some X number to go to get placed, but it was X minus. So I was a bit perturbed. I went to the CEO of the company who came for the interview. So I asked him that you committed us this number, but you're taking less number of students. So what is the reason? So he gave me a very interesting, intriguing reason. And the reason he said is that your students are theoretically ready, but they are practically not ready. They don't know how to apply it.
For the past year at InsideIIM, we have been conducting one-on-one career coaching sessions as counsel, short domain-specific courses as masterclasses, and university-affiliated certificate programs. Now, we are extremely excited to announce that we have a new home for all these highly rated programs in altuni.in. So, if you're looking to earn a high salary, get a promotion, switch jobs, click on the link in the description or just visit altuni.in. Thank you, enjoy the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon to never miss an update. Cheers. Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Professor of the Year for 2021. It's been a tough year, it's been a very complicated year, not just for the students, but the entire professor community as well. It gives us a lot of pleasure to do this first episode with Professor Rajeev Kumra from IIM Lucknow. He's won this award for many, many years now. And thank you so much, Professor, for joining us here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, Professor, to begin with, whenever we read your reviews, students say this one thing that you have a unique style of teaching. Tell us what is this unique style of teaching and tell us how did you develop it?
To give it a structure, what I do is that I divide my teaching into two parts, let's say. I call that one is called as hardware part, the other is called as software part. Okay. So what is hardware part and what is software part? The hardware part is typically the knowledge which you bring to the classroom. And the software is how do you deal with the students and how do you engage the students. So there is a key to it. So first we'll talk about hardware and then about the software. Sure. The hardware part is something like this, that what knowledge do you bring to the classroom? So almost every professor is knowledgeable, but what is happening is that we as a professor is competing with the social media, because a student can go on to a Google. While you're teaching in a class, he has an access to internet. He can go on to the Google and Google whatever you're teaching. Now there comes the challenge. So in case if you are teaching through a traditional method, let's say you are lecturing, then it is going to be more complex, because whatever you want to teach, he can go and search it on the Google. So if you are talking about a definition per se, that doesn't excite a student, because he can himself search it and possibly get better definition than what you can explain in the class. So where is the delta which you bring to the class is in the how part of any concept. So what does exactly how part means? How part means how it is implemented. The operational part is what is going to give you a differentiation in the classroom, because that he cannot find on the Google. Even if he search, he will not be able to find out any fundamental, any strategy which is written there as theory, but how to apply it is missing.
Professor, give us an example. Why don't you give us an example of that?
Yeah, why not? You talk about advertisement, let's say. So there can be theories around advertisement, but what if you pick up a advertisement, a real-time advertisement of a ongoing advertisement, and try and dissect it, and explain to the student that what is there, which is behind it. He will never find this on internet. That is where is your delta comes as a professor. So what it means is that as a professor, I need to be equipped about what? I need to be equipped about the practical knowledge. Because I was the placement chair for 3 years of executive MBA at IIM. So I realized when I was talking to industry that there is a visible gap. So many, without naming recruiters, top recruiters used to come. So one time, one top recruiter came and I was expecting some X number to go to get placed, but it was X minus. So I was a bit perturbed. I went to the CEO of the company who came for the interview. So I asked him that you committed us this number, but you're taking less number of students. So what is the reason? So he gave me a very interesting, intriguing reason. And the reason he said is that your students are theoretically ready, but they are practically not ready. They don't know how to apply it. So possibly the applied side of any topic, any subject is very, very important for us.
Right, right.
So that is what is a hardware. What is the software? The software is student engagement. How do you engage a student? You need to understand your audience. Am I teaching to a CEO who's sitting in my classroom, or am I teaching to a vice president, or am I teaching to a young graduate who has just passed out from his university? To engage it, there is a lot of psychological fundamentals which come into play. I use one of the fundamentals, which is that nobody can have an attention more than 20 minutes. It is scientifically proven in psychology. That means if I have a lecture of 1.5 hours, that's a typical lecture in IIMs, I need to get a break after every 15 to 20 minutes. It has to be a conscious break. I need to have a clock in my mind wherein after every 20 minutes, I need to give a break. So break has to be very logical. So you can have your own way of breaking. I break it with a humor, and I tie it up with the topic which is going on. So with the topic, I create a humor, and that gives a fantastic break, a needed break to the student, and then they again back into the concentration. So this is just one of the tricks.
Right.
The second is how do you use a blackboard? I never use PPT. That's another part of the software. Why don't I use PPT? Because students are bright and brilliant nowadays. They can read very fast because they are into a very unique, dynamic world. So they do everything very fast, be it Instagram. So they have a attention span of few seconds. So there has to be a structure when you start a class, but at the same time, it has to be unstructured. So I call it a structured chaos in the class.
Right. Right.
So I create an intentionally structured chaos by not using a PPT, but by using a chalk and then making the flow for the discussion. So that gets the attention of the student.
Right.
And I challenge them that ask a question from anything and everything which comes on this particular topic, from any industry, any of your past experiences, any of the query you have, whether we have this on this particular topic or not today. So that gives excitement to the student. And that's what is more challenging for the student. You have to keep on. So that's the software side. So these two things has to be in a proper balance.
Right.
So this is what
you take the software side further outside the classroom also, right? Like
yes.
I've heard that you engage with students a lot outside the classroom as well. Give us 2-3 examples of how you engage with students beyond the classroom.
We are blessed in education because our relationship goes much beyond the classroom. What I mean to say is that as a professor, we carry our personality into the classrooms. So we are not seen as just a knowledge giver. We are seen as an ideal role model in the classroom. I'm working in a company and I get numerous calls of my passed out alums when they face a problem, when they're working in a company, mind it, 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Yeah, this is not even the internship. This is real life.
Yes. And they call me up and say that, well, we are facing this problem. We have done this. What's your view about it? So they're getting almost like a free consulting, but I welcome it because I myself get experience out of it. So I feel very happy interacting with them. So my relationship is just not ending in 2 years. It keeps on. It's a lifetime. I always tell them we have a lifetime relationship.
Professor, a lot of things have changed in the last year. I'm sure on campus, students could have walked up to you. You could have shared the gym with the students in the evenings. They could have met you there. Now, in the last year, all the interactions have been online. You've been teaching online. Surely the board and the chalk have their limitations online. So how has your method of teaching changed in the last year, and how have you adapted to the whole online teaching scenario?
There is a challenge because COVID has thrown a lot of challenge on both students and faculty. We have to adapt to a new environment. We can't meet physically. So a lot of the good things about physical meeting, face-to-face meeting has gone away, but we need to replace it. So how do we replace it? So this is an art again. So hardware part doesn't change. As I said, hardware means your knowledge and how you deliver it. That doesn't change. But the software part, how do you engage a student, is definitely going to be changing because the probing which you do, the way you do it. So I have adapted a lot of methods. I'll just share one of them.
Please.
So let's say you're teaching through a Google Meet or you're teaching through a Zoom or Microsoft Meet. So how do you ensure that student is attentive? There is a very simple ways. As I said, after every topic or in between the topic, I will throw up a question which will have a very simple answer, yes or no. It can be a very stupid question, but I intentionally throw it in between and say that, okay, now, what do you think? what is the answer? Is it yes or no? And type Y if it is yes, and type N if it is no. And then I say, I'm watching how many of you are typing. So that forces them to be attentive. They know that there's a professor who's watching. And then I actually read the chat, because how much are you reading the chat is a new way of measuring the engagement level.
Right. Professor, the other thing that I was going through your profile and I noticed was that you've done work on understanding what religion, what marketing can learn from religion also. Now, that is very fascinating and interesting to me as well, because religion is a part of culture, and often marketing is about more than just our immediate world. It is about learning from so many different disciplines. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. I have done one of the research work which is on the intersection of religion and marketing. And I wanted to understand, my research question was that I want to understand that can, as a marketer, I leverage a religion without making it political statement. It was a purely marketing interest that I wanted to see that as a marketer, because culture, as you have rightly said, has religion as a very important imbibed part of it. It's our life. So can I use it? Because I see many of the, so how I got this idea, because for example, look at Salman Khan. He always launches a movie during the Eid.
It's coming up right now again. So
yeah. Yes, exactly. Patanjali is seen as a brand which is more of a Hindu brand, because it's propagated by yoga guru. Henceforth, it is seen more as a Hindu brand. India is a very sensitive country as far as religion is concerned. Like abroad in America, you have race, which is colors, especially the color is the issue there, black versus white, Black Lives Matters. So I was thinking, as an Indian, there is no study on India, that what if I, as a marketer, leverage it? What if, as a marketer, I communicate openly and stand for some religion? Will it really give me an advantage? Will it increase my sales, or will it not increase my sales? So that was my research which I did. So this was my first finding, that a person, if he's exposed to his own religion ad, he don't notice it. Possibly because he is used to it. Because in my house, I have photographs of all the gods, and so is in the Muslim house. So henceforth, we see symbols, and we are a very religious country, in a spiritual country. And we take our symbols of our God in our workplace. It's very common to see God's photographs in the workplace. That doesn't happen so much abroad. So when I'm seeing so many symbols around me, I don't notice those advertisements. But when I see the other symbols, because they are very intriguing, they are not as per my own thought process, I immediately notice it. But this was first finding. The second finding was that, is it effective?
Right.
Because that is more important as a marketer to know me. Will it really motivate the customer to buy? So we had various variables as an outcome, that whether he will buy. Buy was the ultimate, but in between was, how does he feel about it? Because feeling comes first and the buying comes second.
Right.
You'll be very surprised to know that the persons felt irritated when they saw the other. They could first figure out. So awareness goes up. As a marketer, your awareness will go up about your brand if you're using a simple religious symbol. But secondly, but the more important part is this, that you're just not an awareness game, is that whether he will feel good about your brand. So your brand image will come down because he feels irritated when you look at your other religion symbol, and definitely was not leading to sales. So that means, as a marketer, you're playing with a fire if you're using religion. Don't use it, is what I told the marketers, that don't use it. That was the finding of this particular study.
Perfect. Okay, Professor, last question, and this is about the times that we are in. I think one of the biggest skills that you can teach students right now is to how to deal with uncertainty, because COVID may be there or not be there in the future, but there are going to be uncertain times. A new thing is going to come up every year, every couple of years, and that's what you are teaching in the classroom. But beyond the classroom, students who are watching this, students who aspire to get into IIM Lucknow one day, students who are in other schools, students who have recently passed out of any other B school, what is your message to them about uncertainty and dealing with it?
You need to update your skills. You need to go beyond a traditional courses which you're studying. That means your normal MBA is not going to help you. If you're doing MBA, my words to use that, go on to the free platforms which are offering you courses, and pick up the latest cutting edge courses, which now companies are looking at. For example, marketing analytics. Your college may not be offering marketing analytics for different reasons, but you do a course on that, or for that matter, business analytics, or machine learning, or AI, how it is applied into our businesses, because businesses are moving towards that. there is a lot of emphasis which is happening on digital era. So henceforth, go on and do those courses. So one learning is that pick up courses which are contemporary, which are cutting edge. Second, try to get a internship if it is possible, or a project, even if you get free, if you can do online. If that is not possible, try to find out a mentor in the industry. Right. Get one mentor. He can be a professor, but you also try and find out a mentor from industry who's working in a senior position, who can guide you, who can take you through this particular process.
Right.
The last thing I will tell is network. In this era, network is what will take you to the next level. So how do you network? There are a lot of platforms to network. Facebook and Instagram is just very casual platforms. Go on to the LinkedIn. Try and connect to those who are in the right positions, whom you think can help you. But networking is an art. So question is that, are you going to only extract? Then it is not going to help. So you have to see that how will you deliver a benefit?
Add value.
Yes, add value to the network. For example, you get connected to a HR guy, and he may not have a vacancy currently, but he may have vacancy after 1 year or 2 years. Even if you shift the company, still he is very valuable to you. So you have a HR guy of X company connected. So question is that, how do you deliver a value to him? If you only keep on asking for an internship, for a projects, or for a final placements, that's not a value which is getting added. You came across that there is a online conference which is happening in, let's say, Chicago, of the World Congress HR, and there is where they are seeking a participants, or they're seeking a speaker. You can share that. Right. That's what is a value add. So you have to think, how can you add a value to the network so that you can leverage each other's and benefit from that. So and also my best wishes to you in this era.
Thank you so much, Professor Rajeev Kumra, for being so honest, so forthwith, and so clear about how you do this. It's no wonder that you've been winning the Professor of the Year so regularly at IIM Lucknow. Thank you so much for your time, and keep up the good work. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.